In today's short, we'll look at architecture of DBMS. The figure shows the structure with some simplification of a typical database management systems based on the relational data model. The DBMS accepts SQL commands generated from a variety of user interfaces, produces query evaluation plans, executes these plans against the database, and returns the answers. When a user issues a query, the parsed query is presented to a query optimizer, which uses information about how the data is stored to produce an efficient execution plan for evaluating the query. An execution plan is a blueprint for evaluating a query and is usually represented as a tree of relational operators. The code that implements relational operators sits on top of the file and access methods layer. This layer includes a variety of software for supporting the concept of a file, which in DBMS is a collection of pages or a collection of records. This layer typically supports a heap file or a file of unordered pages, as well as indexes. In addition to keeping track of the pages in file, this layer organizes the information within a page. The disk and access methods layer code sits on top of the buffer manager, which brings pages in form of disks to memory as needed in response to read requests. The lowest layer of the DBMS software deals with the management of spaces on disk where the data is stored. Higher layers allocate, deallocate, read, and write pages through routines provided by this layer, called the disk space manager. The DBMS supports concurrency and crash recovery by carefully scheduling user requests and maintaining a log of all changes to the database. DBMS components associated with concurrency control and recovery include the transaction manager, which ensures the transaction request and release logs according to a suitable logging protocol and schedules the execution transactions. The log manager, which keeps track of requests for logs and grant logs on database objects when they become available. The recovery manager, which is responsible for maintaining a log and restoring the system to a consistent state after a crash. The disk space manager, buffer manager, and file access methods layers must interact with these components. To recap the DBMS architecture, we have query evaluation engine at the top, which consists of parser, operator evaluator, plan executor, and optimizer, which connects with files and access methods, which connects with buffer manager, and it connects with disk space manager at the lowest layer. Then we have recovery manager on the right, which again talks to all the three components, that is files and access methods, buffer manager, and disk space manager. Then on the left, we have concurrency control components such as transaction manager and log manager, which talks to files and access methods, buffer manager, and disk space manager. Then we have system catalog, which contains the metadata about data files and index files, and also the metadata about system catalog itself. Subscribe and comment for more such charts.